All right, let's jump right in. We all think of our home as a safe haven, right? But the roof over your head, well, it's actually fighting a relentless battle with the elements every single day. In this explainer, we're going to use one specific town as a case study to see just how extreme that fight can really get.
So, just think about it for a second. We don't usually see our roof as some kind of active defender, but that's exactly what it is. It's your home's first and most important line of defense. But what is it really fighting? Believe me, it's a whole lot more than just a little rain.
And for folks living in a place like Kyle, Texas, that fight isn't just a skirmish. It's a full-blown daily war against a pretty unique and punishing climate. The stakes there, they're incredibly high. So that brings us to our first section here, Kyle's unique weather challenge. Let's meet the main antagonists in the story, the environmental forces that make this region so unbelievably tough on a roof. First on the list is the sun. And I'm not talking about a nice, warm summer day. In Kyle, summer temperatures regularly blast past 100 degrees. This kind of intense UV exposure literally bakes the asphalt shingles, stripping away their protective granules and making them brittle way before their time. And then there's the hail. You see, Kyle is located in a weather convergence zone, which is a nice way of saying they get hammered by severe hailstorms. In fact, Hays County, where Kyle is, has some of the highest rates for hail claims in all of Texas. We're talking about hail that can literally crack and pulverize shingles on impact. And you just can't forget about the wind. The terrain around Kyle is pretty open, so there's not much to slow down those sustained winds that just pound the area during storms. These winds are constantly prying at the edges and ridges of a roof, just trying to lift and tear shingles right off. Now, to really put this in perspective, check this out. Local building codes in Kyle actually require roofs to withstand 110 mile-per-hour winds. 110. That is the force of a Category 2 hurricane. That one number alone tells you pretty much everything you need to know about the incredible forces these things have to endure. You know, some of the worst damage is the stuff you can't even see. It's this process called thermal cycling. Just imagine your roof heating up to over 160 degrees in the blazing sun, and then bam, it cools by 60 degrees overnight. This constant expanding and contracting, day after day, slowly but surely loosens nails and cracks all the sealant, aging the whole system way too fast. Sooner or later, all that stress has to show up somewhere. So in this next part, let's look at the practical, visible distress signals your roof sends out when it's starting to lose the fight. Think of this as your own personal inspection checklist. If you see shingles that are curled up or blistering, that's a classic sign of major heat damage. Those dark spots, that's where hail has literally blasted off the top protective layer. Of course, missing shingles after a storm is a huge red flag, but also keep an eye out for sneaky things like water stains on your ceiling or even a slight sag in the roofline. These are all urgent calls for help. Okay, so let's say you've spotted a problem. Now what? Let's walk through the playbook that professionals use to get a roof's integrity back and make sure it can actually handle those 110 mile-per-hour winds we were just talking about. Now this slide is so important because it shows a critical difference. Certified installation isn't just some marketing phrase. For a high wind zone like Kyle, it means using a very specific 6-nail fastener pattern instead of the standard 4. It means following the manufacturer's rules to the letter. If you don't, you can actually void your warranty, and your roof could fail in the exact storm it was supposed to protect you from.
The whole process should be totally transparent, It kicks off with a really detailed inspection with pictures and everything. While the work is being done, your property should be protected. We're talking tarps over the bushes and magnetic rollers to find every last nail, and it doesn't end until a quality control manager does a final check and you have all the official warranty and permit papers right there in your hand.
And that brings us to the final and most crucial part of this whole thing, the strategy. How do you, as a homeowner, make the right call to protect what's probably your single biggest investment? Are we talking repair, replace, or just maintain?
So this table pretty much lays out the decision-making process. If you've just got some localized damage from one bad storm, a targeted repair might be all you need. The goal there is just to stop any leaks and squeeze a little more life out of your current roof. But if the whole system is getting old or the damage is all over the place, a full replacement is really the only way to truly restore your home's value and get that long-term peace of mind.
And look, if you take just one thing away from all of this, let it be this right here. It doesn't matter if it's a small repair or a huge replacement. Speed is everything. A tiny leak from one missing shingle can turn into catastrophic damage to your ceiling, insulation, and even the framing of your house. Responding fast is absolutely key.
So, we'll end on this thought. Your roof isn't just a cover, it's a shield. And after seeing what it's really up against, especially in a place like Kyle, Texas, the only question left to ask is your shield ready for the next storm?